morning, I'm Neko and I'm doing a 3-week trip through Japan. It's day 3 and without any jet lag, we were ready to go visit Kawaguchiko, which is a famous place for spotting Mount Fuji. I have some advice for your own trip at the end of this video so you won't make the same mistakes as us. It was a bit chaotic, but we had fun. Because of our jet lag, we took a later bus, which was a good decision, so we were heading to the bus terminal. The earlier buses were booked out anyway, but it was good that we had some extra hours of sleep. First things first, I had to get my favorite onigiri. It is the omo rice flavored one and it's so good. It has a sprinkle of ketchup in the middle and I really recommend you to get one as well if you have the chance. We paid a total of 8,800 yen for the round trip, which is around 25 euro per person. We chose the bus over the train so that we had assigned seats. Would I do it again? I will talk about it in the end. The bus was on time, so it was a very peaceful and calm ride to our destination. Also, a girl I used to go to the same school with randomly saw me in Shinjuku and sent me a message on Facebook Messenger. I've never seen her in our hometown, but then in Tokyo, that was so funny to me. The world is such a small place sometimes. But I felt like especially in November 2023, so many people from Germany were in Japan as well. And yes, we were masking because I honestly didn't want to get sick during my holiday. I was looking forward to this for such a long time and I didn't want to spend some days in bed. We also managed to get a little sneak peek on Mount Fuji during the ride, but of course I was too slow and I didn't film it. Sorry for that. After around 2 hours, we arrived at Kawaguchiko station around 11 AM and they greeted us with a Boruto bus. I loved that about Japan. We met with our friends and waited for the red line sightseeing bus. The fare for the bus is around 480 yen, depending on where you get off. We were heading to Oishi Park as you can get some nice views of Mount Fuji there. It's also the last stop of the ride. The sightseeing bus arrives every 15 minutes and it was so crowded on that day. On our way there, we noticed that Fuji was shy, so the iconic view from the famous Lawson did not look that special, but it's okay. We checked the weather forecast and they said it would be a cloudless day, but I think Mount Fuji attracted all of the clouds, so it was quite a bummer. After like 30 minutes, we arrived at Oishi Park. They had some little food stalls in front of it, and one of our friends bought some of the famous grapes there. They were a bit pricey and tasted good, but not really different than the ones that you can get from Germany for a cheaper price. But I was happy that I had the possibility to try them out, and Kevin got some coffee, so we were ready for some sightseeing. Or so we thought. This place didn't look like in the pictures on Instagram. Surprise, surprise, I guess because it is very over-edited. And even though it was surrounded by very cute cafes and restaurants, Fuji was still hiding, so we decided to get some lunch instead and hoped that the clouds would disappear in the meantime. Even though you can magically change the weather, my mood was a bit down at that point. We found a restaurant called Sansuien, which seemed to be a family business, so they were a bit overwhelmed with all of the customers. The food was good, but it cost us some time as there were only 3 people working there, which I totally understand. It was the right decision to eat something though, and I felt a little bit more cheerful after. I had a katsudon with a miso soup and had some other side dishes as well, so we were full after this meal. Some time had passed after our lunch, but Fuji was still shy. We walked to Oishi Park again and look at those houses. I'd love to live here and say hello to Fuji every morning. Since Oishi Park still looked good, if you ignored the Instagram expectations, we took some photos and enjoyed the beautiful scenery and cursed the mean clouds that hid our main goal of this trip. In general, I felt like it wasn't too crowded in this area, but I knew there was a little festival going on in the Momoji alley, and I thought maybe everyone was there. I hoped that we could go there as well in the end, but first we decided to go back to visit Arakurayama Sengen Park because that was the one destination all of us wanted to see for sure, and the time was flying on that day. We were a bit unlucky because our bus back to Kawaguchiko station was late. Probably it was stuck in traffic as there are not that many ways to get to the station, so it cost us a lot of time as well. On the way back, I noticed that the clouds were starting to disappear, so that made me extremely happy. Back in Kawaguchiko station, we took the train to Fujiyoshida station, which only comes every half an hour, and our friends knew they had to rush to get their bus back to Tokyo. We were a bit shocked about how fast the day had passed, and it felt like all we did was waiting for buses and trains. But at least the clouds were gone and we had a nice view on Mount Fuji from the train. I was so excited to see the famous pagoda that I knew from so many pictures, but I wasn't aware that it's around a 20-minute walk up there that contains many stairs. Our friends rushed up there as they didn't have much time left, but but I'm gonna be honest, I needed a few breaks because my body is not trained at all. I was so relieved and happy when we reached Arakurayama Sengen Park, and since it was sunset time, many people already left, so it wasn't really crowded. Even though it was the best time of the day, it was a magical moment to see this breathtaking view, and it was one of my favorite moments during the travel, so I understand why this place is so popular. Even though we had a little bit more time than our friends, we also had to catch our train in order to get the bus. So we started going back while still enjoying the scenery on our way down. Our train was a Naruto train, and I knew my 14-year-old self would have freaked out at that sight. Unfortunately, our bus was almost an hour late, so there was no reason to rush, but we only found that out when we were at the station. I was happy when the bus arrived, as it was getting cold, and we slowly drove back to Tokyo. Even though the sightseeing wasn't that successful, I think our view on the day really made everything worth it, and we had some quality time together, which still made it a very beautiful day. Back in Shinjuku, I really wanted to go to BookOFF, as I knew you could get some really nice secondhand figure and plushie deals. They had so many cute products and the prices were amazing, but I had to be careful with what I bought as the luggage was already in our next hotel and we only had our backpacks, so in the end I didn't get anything. We also took a stroll through Omoide Yokocho, which is a famous sightseeing spot, and it was crowded as always. Of course, we were hungry after such a long day, so we went to Shogun Burger. The interior was a bit chaotic, but I love that they let you ride on the wall. This chain uses Wagyu meat for the meals, and please go there if you ever come to Tokyo. One of the best burgers I ever had. The fries were so crispy and delicious as well. It was perfect here, and I love to eat that again now. I also have some videos of our hotel, but I think this will be our last time going to an upper hotel. It wasn't that clean and, as always, very small, so we had no space for our luggage, but this is not a new thing here in Tokyo. That's it for day 3, and I also have a little summary for your own trip, and those are my advices. Number 1, check the weather forecast. If it's a cloudy or a rainy day, skip this as a day trip, as you won't see Mount Fuji. Number 2, book your tickets as soon as you know the weather forecast of the day, as the early slots are sold out very fast. We got ours from highwaybuses.jp. I'm gonna link them down in the description. Number 3, arrive early and plan time for your lunch, the buses and the trains that you must take. As you can see in this video, we lost plenty of time because of those factors. Number 4, go to famous places either very early or very late, as it gets very crowded during other times of the day, especially during cherry blossom season. If you're a group of like 6 people, you can also consider getting a private driver, which is more pricey but also very convenient. Maybe we should have done that as well, but we were only 4 people on that day. Number 6, and a very important part, should I take the bus or the train to Kawaguchiko? I'm gonna be honest, I think next time I take the train instead. You can be more spontaneous and you don't have to worry about catching your bus on time. In the worst case, your bus can be late or stuck in traffic, which is a bummer. I mean, the advantages of a bus are that you have an assigned seat and that you don't have to change the trains or anything, but in all other points, I think the train is doing a better job. And the last point, enjoy your time. Kawaguchiko has so many things that you can do, like the Momoji Alley, the ropeway, and taking cute pictures of Mount Fuji. So take your time to explore this place and enjoy your day. And thank you so much for watching this video. I hope that you liked it. If you did, please like, comment, or subscribe. I would really appreciate that. And see you next week for the next part of this journey.